Hello, friends. Trisha Goyer here, and I'm so excited that we are on week 5 of our Fishy Friday Friends Fun. I don't know,
Fun
all those things
facts, all
together.
the F words. Yeah, that's right. Fun fact, fun, fishy
Fishy,
stuff. Yes,
great. Yes. And I am a homeschooling mom. I have 10 kids. I love learning. I think I've had so much fun learning as I'm a mom and a writer. My kids don't even know that I'm having fun too. But we are here to talk about our fifth animal. And Sherry's going to tell us a little bit about the animal after she tells us a little bit about her.
that's right. I'm Sherry Seligson, and I'm a homeschool mom also. I have four kids, but I'm also a marine biologist, and I write all about science and teach science and love talking about science. And so our fifth animal today is Luna, the deep sea anglerfish. And if you've never seen what an anglerfish is, there you go. Trisha has that picture of a beautiful illustration of Luna. Doesn't she have a sweet smile? I
Oh,
love it.
she's so cute.
I think she's so cute. I know they're scary looking, but they're just so amazing. So we are learning, only beginning to start to learn about creatures like Luna that live in the deep. And in the story of Wonders of the Ocean Realm, our fifth story, Luna, takes us down into the ocean depths. And you begin to learn a little bit more about what that part of the ocean is like. But we don't know a lot about it. And so you're going to see her adventures and all the exciting things that happen in the story. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of preserving our ocean and conserving things so that we're not messing up our oceans. We don't understand a lot about them because they're so big. They cover almost three-fourths of our world. And we know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the ocean floor. Did you guys know that? It's so unknown. And so we're exploring constantly and learning about it. But we have to be careful with what we do on the surface of the ocean or what we put into the oceans because it affects amazing creatures like Luna and all the other creatures that we studied in our book that we talked about in our book. So we want to talk about the importance of not throwing garbage out, excess. We want to make sure we're being careful with where we put our garbage. Do you know there are entire islands of garbage floating in our oceans? They're called garbage islands, and they're in the center part of our ocean because the oceans are part of this current that moves in a circle called a gyre, a large gyre. And so in the center, the garbage kind of collects and just sits there and pollutes our ocean. Oil spills get into our ocean. Now, there are natural bacteria that can feed on the oil, but we need to be careful with what we do. And so we want to make sure that we take care of the creatures that are in our ocean. We are stewards of what God has given us. He's given us the oceans, and we need to live wisely and be careful with the things that we do so that they don't mess up the oceans and use them well. We're learning about how animals down there can make their own light, which is called bioluminescence. And Luna has some bacteria that live right on the tip of her dorsal spine, and these bacteria can glow, and she uses those bacteria to hunt for food and to lure it closer. I have a simple little glow stick here, and how they make that glow, that light without heat is important because think of fire. Fire produces light, but it also makes heat. Animals can't create light and heat. Otherwise, it would burn up their tissue. So they make something called cool light. And so, what's in a glow stick? To make this glow stick glow, I'm going to bend it and it's going to crack. You'll hear a cracking sound. And when you shake it up, you're mixing chemicals together that create a glow. There's actually two different liquids in here. One is on in a tiny glass vial on the inside, and the other is surrounding the glass vial on the outside. And so when I break it, when I bend it, can you hear that cracking sound?
Yes.
Okay, so then you can see how it's starting to glow already. I'm going to shake it up. So now the liquid inside the vial is mixing with the liquid outside the vial, and I'm getting a created energy that's actually creating light, but it's a cool light. And that's what glowing bacteria do. That's what other fish down that live down in the deep parts of the ocean do when they make their light. And we're learning about more and more animals in the deep ocean that are able to survive down there in a very harsh environment, very cold, very dark, and yet they're able to survive and live well because God designed them to live that way.
It is so amazing. And they need that light down there. They're creating their own light. Well, God made it so they could work together, and the bacteria work with the anglerfish to create light to lure other little creatures in to have some food for Luna. And it's just
That's right.
amazing that God provides even in the deep, 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 deep ocean. But everything that falls on the surface, what happens when you drop something in the water, it sinks to the bottom. And there's so much pollution. One thing that was so interesting is the whale fall. I did not know this,
Yes.
Sherry, that
Yes.
you taught me about the whales when they die will fall down, and all those creatures are able to use that whale. So it talks about it, all the whale falling down, and there's a photo that we have in there, and scavengers and different creatures come,
That's
and
right. I'm
they
looking
all are
for it.
able to have food to
Oh, you have
eat.
it. Yes.
Yeah, food to eat from the whale. So I was going to read a little bit about that,
Go
and it's
ahead.
called Feast. Swishing and flapping noises erupt around Luna. The water stirs. The scavengers ravage the soft tissue of the carcass. This is the whale carcass. The scent draws sharks and hagfish. Eels slide and slither over to find their share. Crabs scuttle closer, and bone eating worms drill in, looking like waving flags. A whale fall feast is a wealth of food. Luna hides behind a nearby rock to watch the creatures dying. Eventually, there will only be a skeleton left. Tiny creatures break down the hard material like cartilage and bones until every part is used. Then bacteria will work on the rest, breaking the bones into chemicals. The bacteria are eaten by tiny plankton floating in the water. Next, animals like sponges and sea lilies will eat the plankton. Small fish eat the sponges and lilies, and predators like Luna feed on the fish. Whew. More animals near the whale fall means more food for Luna. And God is able to provide all these creatures with the things they need. And we definitely don't want to be polluting the ocean because they can't eat that. And
That's right.
we can't use that.
That's right. That's right. So it's a good lesson for us, but it's also an amazing lesson to see that even in a place as dark and seemingly unlivable is a place that's abundant with life. And even how the ocean recycles itself, God made it so that when an animal dies, the material that make up its body will then break down and other creatures will use that for food and bring it back into the food chain for other creatures to feed on. And so I think one of the fun activities we can do this week is make our own model of Luna using materials that
Mm.
are going into the recycle bin or going to be thrown away. And so I think one of my favorites, I have a partially made Luna here using some egg cartons. So this is the 2 cups of two egg carton, eggs from an egg carton that I just cut all the extra pieces out of. And then I taped them together so they would move like this. And then I cut a couple different triangles out like this and made a slit so that Luna would have 2 fins. These are her pectoral fins. And then I taped a little tail to the back. Now, the last thing I want to do, I gave her some teeth on the top.
I
I
love her
just cut,
teeth. Those are
you
some
love
big
that?
teeth, but Luna has big teeth, doesn't
She
she?
does have sharp, pointy teeth. And so I have another piece of paper that I cut out with some tape. And so again, I just rummaged through what we had in our recycle bin because I wanted to make a craft rather than buying new craft supplies using something I already had. And so now she has a mouth with her fun pointy teeth. Now we want to make that dorsal spine with the bacteria. So I found a small pipe cleaner and just a little random bead. So I'm going to stick that. This is the little place where the bacteria would hang out. And I'm sticking that on there. And now I want to put that right in the top here for Luna's dorsal spine. Let me stick it in and just kind of bend it so it stays in place. Now the last thing we need to do is give Luna some eyes. So let's give her some fun little eyes. They don't have very big eyes down
They
in
don't
the
have
ocean
very, they have a
depths.
big mouth, but not big eyes.
Not big eyes. She doesn't need them, I guess. I'm gonna give her 2 little eyes right here. And here you go. Here's my little deep sea anglerfish. That's my Luna. And you can use any material that you want. to make your fun little ocean craft, but use materials that are going to be thrown away. See what you can find that if your mom or dad's getting ready to throw a paper towel roll in the garbage, say, wait, I want to make a Luna out of that. See if you can use your creativity to come up with the different components of Luna's body to make a fun craft. And remember, keeping some of these materials out of the garbage for a while and using them instead of buying new materials to make our craft.
And I bet they could do that with the other creatures that we have too.
You
A
could.
rainbow mantis shrimp. You could use your markers and color it and make some punch, a little puncher, a little punch.
Oh, yeah, a little punch for that's right, for our mantis shrimp. That's right. Yeah, it would be fun. You can use fabric strips for the tentacles of our octopus, our mimic octopus. All kinds of fun creative options to do. But again, we want to utilize material we already have, and it just reminds us that we need to take care of some of this material. If we just buy new stuff and keep buying new stuff and keep buying new stuff and throwing away the old stuff, then we're filling our garbage and eventually our oceans with garbage. So we want to be aware that we're good stewards of what God has given us and caring for the environment that Luna lives in and all the other animals that we've talked about in Wonders of the Ocean realm.
Yeah, and that makes me think about our writing too, because
Mm.
the ocean becomes polluted with things that don't belong, and conservationists they help clean up the ocean, and we could actually do that with our writing. Now, I just read part of the story. Sherry and I worked on that and we kind of cut out a lot of things that didn't belong. So often when we sit down and write a story, we're just excited and we're exploring and we're writing about Luna and adding lots of words. And then later we're like, this is so much. We don't need all these words. And so then we get to take out what doesn't belong, just like you want to take garbage out of the ocean, other things that are polluting. We can unpollute. Unpollute, is that a word? I don't know.
Yeah,
Take
we'll
the
make it a
take
word.
take the words out that aren't needed in our writing. So I did an example of this. So see if you can see some of the words that are polluting up this paragraph. Now, when I say polluting, it means sometimes there's so many words in there that we can't really hear the point of what the story is. So when Sherry and I we get so excited, we write and write and write, we had to pull out extra words. So they are extra words. They make sentences very rambling. And so we can also trade very like big sentences for shorter sentences or action words or words that make it clear. So here's an example of kind of a paragraph that rambles on. So Luna the anglerfish was swimming in the deep, deep sea where it was super dark and it was really, really hard to see. And the water was very cold and she had a thing on her head that kind of looked like a fishing pole with a glowing light at the end of it. And she used to try to get it to the fish to come closer. And then she would try to catch them if they became too close. And there was also a lot of trash floating in the water, like plastic and stuff, which really wasn't good for the ocean at all. Well, that is writing, but it just kind of went on, and there's a lot of extra words. So extra words we could take off was where instead of saying the deep, deep sea where it was super dark, you say the deep, dark sea. So there's all those extra words can kind of be taken out. And she used to try, you say she swam. She swam closer instead of she used to try to do this or really, really hard. You could take all the reallys out, all those extra words. So it can go something like this, just makes it a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Luna the anglerfish swam through the deep, dark ocean. It was cold, and a little light reached the sea floor. The glowing lure dangled from her head, flickering in the water. Small fish drifted closer, drawn to the light. With a quick snap, Luna lunged, but floating among the fish was plastic and other trash polluting her home. So it's the same
Oh.
thing, but it was so much easier. It wasn't exactly what we had in the story, but you can write your own story about Luna. You can learn about Luna. You could write your own story. Then you're like, there's a lot of extra words, a lot of things that are polluting my paragraph. I can go in and cut out some of those words. And so just like the ocean needs to be cleaned up, we can go through our writing. We could clean it up. We can make it sound better. We could take out extra words. We can think of, is there a way I can make this stronger and use a action verb like Luna lunged? That's an action verb. We could picture her lunging. And so think about maybe a story that you've written, or maybe you could write a story and then afterwards you can say, how can I go and take out the extra words that are polluting this and I could just make it stronger?
I love that, making it clean and crisp and much more interesting to read that way and to hear. So that's a great thing. Now, I wanted to wrap up a little bit by talking about some of the takeaways.
Yes.
One of the things that we told you is Luna has a special relationship with bacteria that live on the end of her dorsal spine, and so that spine is like a home for the bacteria. So they get a great little home, but Luna has the blessing of their glow, and so they work together, and that's called symbiosis. Two animals living together, and at least one is getting a benefit. And both in this case are benefiting from this this teamwork that they're doing. And that's a lesson for us. A lot of animals in creation live in a teamwork environment. And so we do better when we work with others around us. And so we have a deep sea dive that talks about the teamwork of the anglerfish and glowing bacteria. And we want to think about that in ourselves. Can you think of a time when working together with someone else helped you reach a goal? How did it feel to work as a team? It is always better when we work with others to do something and a common goal because we all have our unique skills and we bring something wonderful to the table. You have amazing skills. You have an amazing ability to do things that God's given you to do. And without you, it would not be as good. And so that's like what Trisha and I, when we worked together on this book, we each had different skills that we brought to the teamwork to make this book. And God has teams for you to be a part of. Teamwork makes us stronger, brighter, and better. It's the anglerfish and bacteria's secret, and it's ours too. So we wanted to encourage you through Luna's story at the end of this story that theme of teamwork is an important one for us.
I was thinking that, Sherry, when you were talking about teamwork makes us stronger, this book wouldn't be here without the teamwork of you had all the science facts, and I took and added words and added onomatopoeia and actually, fixed the languages and edited, and
Yes.
we worked together. But then we had an illustrator, and then we had
Yes.
people working at the publishing house that designed it. It was teamwork that brought Wonders of the Ocean Realm to you, to your family. And I think that is so fun. I just love that God made us to be part of teams. He gave us our unique skills. I could have said, I don't like it because Sherry knows so much more about science than me, and she knows more about anglerfish. And I don't like that. Instead, I'm like, Sherry, you know so much about anglerfish and about humpback whales. Let's work together. And we can
Yeah.
do that with our friends. We don't have to compare, we can appreciate each other's strengths.
That's right. Yes, I would have had way too much garbage in my sentences that Trisha would say, "Ooh, let's make this cleaner and more interesting." And so it is such a blessing to work with others well and find out what our strengths are and their strengths are and work together as a team. God made us for community, and it's a very important lesson that we can learn. So when you see Luna's beautiful smile, remember that she's part of teamwork and she can survive because she's working with her amazing bacteria, and you have that ability too. So, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this journey that we've taken over 5 weeks with each one of the animals in the story, Wonders of the Ocean Realm, and just had fun learning things and talking about things and making crafts and maybe improving some of your own writing. Maybe you want to be an author one day and write stories for other people. But we had so much fun coming to you guys and just sharing with you over these last weeks. And we hope you enjoyed it too.
So be sure to check out Wonders of the Ocean Realm. You can also ask your library to get a copy, and other kids can enjoy it too. But thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye bye.